Hello, everybody. Today, I'd like to share my ideas about international business, which I was quite familiar in the past. Actually, myself, I was in, I was engaged in the international business like total 20 years, more than 20 years, and then I really been through a lot of things, including the experience of corporate job career and my own company, whole things, right? And then actually, my knowledge and expert, my specialty is basically about international business, not like now. So ironically, after more than 20 years of international business experience, I just end up doing small domestic business, completely far from my original expertise. And I still found it a little bit, in a way, awkward, something very absurd and ironical. And sometimes I was pondering if there's any chance to go back to international business again, something like that, right? And honestly, during last 10 years time, I had a lot of chances to go back if I really want. But at that time, I just stepped back, take second thought over the matter of going back to my previous expertise. But every case, I just decide to sit back on where I am right now. The first reason was I I don't want to work for somebody else, and I always want to do my own brand and my own business under my ownership. And then that makes me always sit back on what I am, what I'm doing right now. And then the other thing is the business environment for international business. As a small operation, small player in the market, whatever the area it is right now. I mean, these days, unless you are major player who can dominate whole market to some degree, it's very, very hard, realistically very hard. If you are a small player, whatever the way it is, small manufacturer or agent, small agent, exporter, whatever, if your size is not big enough to control whole market, maybe in the position you can manipulate whole market trend. Otherwise, I don't see any hope, and I just want to see the fact, whole fact as it is. In the past, now the business environment is completely different, like what I was experiencing in the past. I mean, basically, there's no room for small player being a middleman, or like these days you become more susceptible to the platform, right? And you cannot think about business without platform. The thing is, you never be able to independent under this kind of business environment. And that also makes me sit back, not moving forward. And like also, I mean, myself also very skeptical about doing international business as a small player. I mean, this is actually I also have experience to purchase products from Temu and Alibaba. If you're talking about international business, right? I mean, I really don't understand how can supplier meet all the requirements from platform, like all the return policy and their payment terms, all this kind of so much stupid, like very arbitrary way of business, right? I don't think I can take that chance. Really, really too much risk. I can digest, I believe. I can understand how that Chinese supplier like can suck up all the losses and claims, right? And all the very brutal payment terms from the platform. I really hate I put my fate on the hands of someone else. So I decided to sit back, just focus what I'm doing now. Although there are some like offers from some platform, I just decide go to small as it is if necessary. Actually, these days the business is not only about the size of your sales amount, but also you have to consider sustainability, right? Especially this time, in these times. Being big also doesn't mean much if you are the very one who can control whole market. Actually, these days, my biggest concern is not to have my business expanded, become big. My biggest concern is to make my business sustainable, regardless of what size it is. I'm not chasing after the size of my business. I just more concentrate on how I make this business sustainable. My heart always shouting for some international business. That's true. But I try to trim down all that voice from my teapot at the moment and just try to make it calm down. And the biggest part I care now is stay cool. Just stay cool as it is with doing this type of small domestic business. But honestly, my depart always crying for something big and international. That's very true. I can deny. However, until now, I haven't seen any kind of optimistic future for international business. My own case, I'm not confident at all. At all, I'm not confident. Although nowadays, much more easy to communicate and operate overseas business. than in the past, technology-wise and all the culture-wise. But there is a thing to make things much difficult for me, because the knowledge, experience, and information everybody knows, everybody can resource, is because of that reason I don't see any optimistic future for international business. But I still hope someday, somehow, I can figure it out something operable, sustaining method of your business.